research and proposal. So for those who are just entering this group, let's reintroduce ourselves in this group so that we can go for um, introduction to ourselves. We can go for inshallah discussion together in further in our group. We also having a group in Telegram. We call it a postgraduate volunteers channel, and this program for our workshop is conducted organized by our chapter Yosh UPM. This is a group of postgraduate volunteers team. You can go to our Instagram name as chapter Yosh UPM. So there inside there are lots of programs that we have already, and I'm the chairman of our chapter Yosh UPM. So let's join us as a members. Let's we go for any workshop and or something activity we've done along before PTP and inshallah after PTP. All right. So we are still waiting. Dr. Normi, where is it? Yeah. Uh, while that you can go for your introduction yourself. Those who are just inside our group, yeah. Okay, Dr. Normi is I think it's already inside the group. Dr. Normi, can you respond me, Dr. Normi? Waalaikumsalam. Where is Dr. Normi? Hello, good morning, Assalamualaikum to those who are chatting now. Welcome to our group of the Google Meet today. We are having for preparation. Let's we invite more of our friends together inside this group. Oh, we also have a postgraduate from UMS, University Malaysia Sabah. So welcome. Okay, make sure that once you're entering this group, make sure you are mute so that we can go for efficient discussion together with Dr. Nomi. Dr. Nomi, how are you? Is it okay? If you are ready and entering this group, I hope we can respond together. Jom cuba. All right, thank you to everyone who are just entering this group. Let's we together introduce ourselves inside our chatting section. Your name, which campus you are, and what kind of program you are pursued for currently the research, what kind of topics you are doing. Hopefully, by introducing ourselves, inshallah, we can go for gather in discussion our research. We can go for gathering together for soon after this. So welcome to those who are joined. I just noticed that there are person who are just from um, UPM, UTM, UMS, and etc. Of the campus. Alhamdulillah, joined today. So we have already 67 of participants. Autonomy, is it inside already?
Yeah, I'm here already.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. All right, so can we introduce ourselves together insyaAllah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, first of all, good morning and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone of our audience. So, Alhamdulillah, for today, we are conducting a program organized by Chapter Yosh UPM. This chapter UPM is a group of alumni who are now pursue their study in master and PhD, and I'm the chairman chapter alumni UPM. Really great to all of you. I hope that you are happy today. You are feeling better today to join with us for the program of workshop. How to write a group research proposal with our motivational speaker Dr. Siti Noormi Alias. Dr. Siti Noormi, can you say hi to our audience, or may you can also open the video?
Hi guys. Oh, you still cannot see my video?
I'm not sure. I will ask the admin to pin your video, so yeah, the audience can directly go for video. Okay, all right. So you are now in our main video, so everyone can
Okay.
see. Yeah, Dr. Dormi, if you
Hi.
can see, you can reply to our chat. That you can see very clear, and you can hear very very clear. The sound from the Dr. Dormi.
Hi guys. So hopefully
Uh,
everybody can hear my voice.
all right, everyone. If you hear Dr. Dormi voice, very confident, very happy today together with us. So, by the way, Dr. Nomi, can I pass to you for introduce yourself and at the same time, what kind of topic and focus for you to give explanation and workshop to us?
Okay. Hi guys. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and good morning to everybody. Okay. So Azri, can I share my slide?
Sure, directly go to the
Present now.
present button. Yeah.
Okay. So present button. Okay. Then I click allow. Okay. Wait. So this one is it I can select the slide or what?
Yes, you can directly go to the Microsoft point and then click it, and so we can see your presentation.
Mm, For the time, what have you seen on my screen, Azri?
Nothing yet. You didn't
Okay.
present yet. You go to the button of you are presenting, and then directly open the Microsoft PowerPoint that you want to use.
Okay. So. uh, okay. Okay. So this one, can you see?
Not yet.
Yeah. Mm,
Okay, I already see. Okay, all of
oh,
us already can view the slide, right? If you're not able to view the slide, make sure that you go to Dr. Nomi names and click there to pin the slide. I think the admin also already pinned Dr. Nomi slide, so everyone can see inshallah. If you are not you cannot view the slide, please respond to our chat section, yeah.
okay. Everybody can
Those
see
who are
the,
just okay.
everybody can see the slide, right?
To all our audience, you can respond through our chat section, yeah.
Okay. So shall I start, Azri?
Well, Mr. Doctor, I try to make sure that
Okay.
all our students, for those who are just entering our online Google Meets now, please make sure you are mute and at the same time don't touch the presenting button icon, yeah? So make sure that so Dr. Amy can focus on her presenting, inshallah. All right, so Doctor, today you have audience of 86 our members, and most of them are from variety of university. There are some of UMS, UTM, UPM, UKM. So
Okay.
they are all members who are not meet yet you for the class before. All right, so inshallah, I pass this floor to Dr. Nomi Alias.
Okay. So again, thank you Azri, and then thank you Atira for being very helpful, and then for inviting me for this event as well. Okay, so hopefully what I'm going to share to all of you going to be very helpful to all of you in assisting in your writing or um, study journal and study journey. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the topic actually given to me by Atira. Okay, how to write a good proposal. So a little bit disclaimer, yeah. Actually, this workshop, I'm not going to share in details regarding the research method, because I thought the research proposal and then the research method is two different things. Okay, because if let's say you want to learn about the research method, it's going to be it should be another session. Okay, so but I will touch in detail because these two will be closely related. Okay. So this is a little bit about me myself. Okay, I joined the Department of Professional Development of Continuing Education, Faculty of Educational Studies on March 2017. So I thought it is still new. Okay, so hopefully it is more on just on the sharing session with all the students. Okay, and then my area of specialization is on corporate social responsibility and performance management and productivity. So this is my area. Uh, and then in terms of teaching, I'm mostly involved in statistical analysis and interpretation of data. Okay, and then I also teach statistics and research method classes, and then also conflict resolution. Okay, the slide already visible, right, Azri? Azri? Okay, so this
Yes.
okay, this is the agenda, our agenda today. Okay, it's not that many. Okay, so I'm going to touch on this four area. The first one is the categories of researchers, the writing strategies, the selection of research interests, and then research and read, write, and practice. Okay, so when I'm teaching the research method or when I approach my students, okay, I always categorize them into three categories. Either they are novice or inexperienced or experienced. Okay, this is about how you are going to know yourself first before we going in detail on how um, on what types of research is suitable for you. So you need to know yourself first. The first one is novice. Novice to me, I refer to a fresh grad student in which most of them are still new in the research area. Okay, they probably do not know what type of research, what research interest, what type of topics they are going to do. Okay, so they are really novice, really new in the academic area. Okay, and then the second one is inexperience. Inexperience, in another word, I prefer to use the term single, but not really available. Not really available. Okay, the single meaning that uh, uh,
Doctor, sorry, you can
yeah.
actually you can't see your slide.
Sorry,
You can't see the slide.
you can see the slide. Azri, can you see the slide?
Okay, excuse me, Dr. Noormi. Okay,
Yeah,
for you guys who are not view the slide, actually, doctor is already presenting the slide, so you just need to click to Dr. Noormi, what we call it, yeah, Dr. Noormi,
Rafat.
profile, so you can see that they are not presenting the slide. All right. So anything question, just ask through chatting. Our admin will conduct together for any question that you're asking. So again, I want to stress back, try to click Dr. Nomi profile so you can see the slide you are now are presenting. Thank you. Okay,
Okay,
Dr. Nomi, you just
okay,
proceed.
yeah. Okay, so the inexperience again. Another word I will use the apa tu? It is still they are single but not available or limited due to they perhaps somehow this group of students they may come from the industry, meaning that they know what they want to do, but they do not know how to do it. Okay, so in terms of the area of interest, they already got certain idea, but either it is researchable or not, they need another guidance from the supervisor. Or another one is perhaps this student comes from the academic area, but they do not know what kind of research they are going to do. Okay, So this one I refer to the inexperience. Okay, the experience, the third category is the experience. So the experience, this one basically I refer to perhaps those who they already got they are very clear what they are what type of research area that they are going to do, and then also they are also very well prepared in terms of the research design, research method, and then the research path they are going to do. So they are really they already got a clear picture on what their research will looks like. Okay, so so you need to take note which categories of researcher you are in, because actually when you meet your supervisor, uh, uh, when you have the clear picture in terms of your research interest and so on, it much easier for your supervisor to help you to identify the research area, or to match you with the research topics, research interests, and so on. Okay, so to me, as of the 3 years teaching experience, I found the most difficult person, or the most difficult students that very challenging for me to assist is actually for those who inexperienced. Okay, to me, to assist the novice and experienced students is very easy. It's quite easy, not very easy. It's quite easy. But to assist the inexperienced, because somehow they know because they already got certain idea, but they somehow tend to become too confident. Okay, so to assist them, it's a little bit challenging. Okay, so next one in terms of the writing strategy. Okay, so the writing strategies, I want to share with all of you about 6 important points. Okay, the first one, the research skills in terms of the formatting, and then create a zero draft document, save your document in a safe place, and then resources library, and then writing buddy. Okay, so we go one by one. Okay, so the first one, research skill. Okay, so before you start write your research proposal, okay, so it is strongly recommended for you to attend or to go through any research classes, okay, any research related classes. If let's say in UPM, okay, so when you first year of your entry in the University Putra Malaysia, basically all of the students will be encouraged to attend either the research method class, the statistics class, and then you also can attend the seminar provided by outsider, a trainer from the outside, related to perhaps on the literature review search, um, on how to use the eagle eyes. Okay, so it is really important for you to equip yourself with the research related skills, because when you are going to write your research proposal, okay, it is much more it is better if let's say you get from the very beginning you can see the clear picture of your research. Okay, so you should be you should be able to identify what are the differences between qualitative research and quantitative research, mixed method. Okay, and then on how to analyze data for qualitative research, for quantitative research. Okay, in terms of the review, it is really important for you to equip yourself with these skills before you start writing, because even when, if let's say you are still new and you have no idea what is research all about, when you read the journal somehow you will lost. Okay, the term that they use somehow really looks like really alien to you. Okay, really you somehow you couldn't get the actual meaning of the term used in the journal, in the academic books. So that's why before you start your proposal writing, make sure that you have at least um, the basic understanding on or the basic research skills. Okay, so far clear, Azri? Clear?
Yeah, clear, doctor.
Okay, so the next one is in terms of formatting. Okay, so in terms of the formatting, somehow it depends on what type of research proposal that you are working on. Either it is academic research proposal or research grant. So actually, it is not that different actually. So just for the academic research proposal, what I refer to is your thesis lah. Okay. And then for research grant, if let's say for the research grant, perhaps there are a little bit difference. If let's say you are applying for the research grant offered by ministry or by offered by industry, okay, somehow they are different. Okay, for academic research, for basically for in terms of research proposal, it should cover the chapter 1 or until chapter 3. So what is chapter 1 and chapter 3? So basically chapter 1, it is related to the introduction of your study, in which it should cover the background of the study, statement of problem, research question or research objective, depending on the research paradigm that you use. Either it is qualitative or quantitative. And then research hypothesis, if let's say you use the quantitative research, okay, and then the significance of the study, okay, and then assumptions, okay, scopes and limitations, and as well as definition of terms. So the definition of terms ni somehow it will include two subsections, okay, perhaps your conceptual definition and then the operational definition. Okay, and then in terms of the literature review, so compared to chapter 1, okay, your chapter 2 is quite unstructured. It depends on your research. Okay, so there is no fixed subtitles for your literature review for the chapter 1. So basically what I can summarize, the content of the literature review should include the concepts of your dependent variable, okay, and then all the related theories, okay, that can explain the relationship. First, that can the theory that can explain about your dependent variable, okay, and then the theory also should be able to explain the relationships or the contributions of your independent variable, the mediator or the moderator towards your dependent variable. Okay, and then you should have the subsection on the hypothesis development, okay, on how your IV and DV, on how your IV influence your DV based on past research, okay, and then lastly the framework. Okay, the framework somehow is perhaps you can have two, the theoretical framework and then the research framework. Okay. Okay, and then so in terms of the third chapter, okay, the third chapter is the methodology. Okay, so this chapter, so at least should cover the research design. Okay, first the research paradigm, either it is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. Okay, the research design, you should be more specific. Let's say you choose the qualitative, okay, and then perhaps you should specify what types of qualitative. Either it is biography, case study, phenomenology. Okay, you should highlight in detail. Okay, if let's say it is quantitative, so what type? Either it is a correlational research design, ex post facto. What else? Okay, you should be more specific. Okay, and then in terms of the sample size determination or adequacy, okay, you should be able to emphasize clearly how you sorry, I thought the second one I missed, the population and sample. Okay, so under chapter 3, you should highlight the population, the targeted population for your study, and then as well as the sample. Meaning that, for example, for the quantitative research, okay, for quantitative research, somehow we know that we couldn't cover everybody in the population. So how you are going to select your sample, and then how you are going to make sure that the selected sample will be can be generalized to the population. How you ensure your sample is randomly choose from the population. Okay. And then the sample size, determination and adequacy. So this one you need to be able to show clearly, okay, how much sample size is required for your study. This one basically for quantitative. For qualitative research, basically there is no a standard ways to determine the sample size, because it depends on the data saturation. Okay, it depends on the saturation of your collected data. Okay, and then in terms of instruments and measurement, okay, you need to be able to state or determine the clear source of the instrument, okay, and then the reliability, and then the validity, data collection procedure, and then lastly data analysis. Okay, so this is actually in terms of the formatting. Okay, so I will show you the example of research proposal. Okay, this is the example. Nampak tak Azri? Tak nampak ya?
It's
Nampak?
okay, Doctor, clear? The example of research
Sekejap lagi, kejap,
tak
no,
nampak
saya
lagi,
buka.
belum.
Looking for it. Okay, this one nampak tak Azri? Okay, nampak ya?
Okay,
Okay,
nampak?
this is actually the example of a research proposal that I myself developed for the recent posting on the proposal for research grant related to COVID-19. Okay. So this is actually this is example of the research proposal for the research grant. Okay, it's a little bit different with academic research. Okay, so I just highlight on the, okay, so basically for the research grant, okay, they have the executive summary, research background. So this is roughly this is the content for research grant, research proposal for research grant. Okay. Okay, so I will go in detail regarding this letter. Okay, so so before I forgot, okay, when you prepare your research proposal, okay, the sentence that you should use, the sentence structure, you should use the future tense because the study not yet be conducted. Okay, later when you already completed your chapter 1 to 3, and then your supervisor give you the cue for you to start your data collection, only then after that you choose the sentence structure into past tense because it's already been conducted. Okay. Okay, so the next one is prepare the zero draft. This one actually before you start, okay, to me I always recommend my student, okay, even though they still have no ideas what they are going to do about their research, they need to prepare the zero draft document. Okay, sometimes as for me, I thought that zero draft document somehow, even though I still have no clear picture what types of research that I'm going to do, but because of the zero draft document, somehow it motivates me, okay, to start writing. Okay, so zero draft document is actually you just prepare the subtopic for your proposal. Okay, without any content, you just state the subtopic or the topics that you are going to cover in your research proposal. So for example, you just state the introduction, the background of study, and then the details of a chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Okay. So this one, I thought you can use the navigation. You can start to learn the navigation pane in Microsoft Word. Okay. So to me, I really suggest you to use zero draft. Okay. And then save and secure your document. Okay. So this is actually the planning. Okay. So before you to me, the Dropbox or Google Drive, okay, really assisting in my really assist me in my proposal writing journey, because somehow uh, the idea to write may comes in unexpected ways. Okay, sometimes when I'm talking to my friend, the idea comes. Okay, so because sometimes the book note the notebook is not always available with us, so it is good if, let's say, you have you save your document in a place that it's very accessible for you, either online or offline. So to me, I prefer to use the Dropbox. Okay, to me, I prefer to use Dropbox, but another option, perhaps you can use the Google Drive. This is very helpful. Okay, because you can use you can access your file no matter where you are. Okay. Okay, and then the next one is the resources library. Okay, the resources library, this one is actually I'm referring to uh, 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 the the place or the system that you can have access to your reference book. Okay, for example, journal, books, news. Okay, you should have one one resource library that you are familiar with, so that if, let's say, you have anything that you want to refer to, then it is accessible to you. Okay, so it depends on the students. Some of the students they prefer to use the Google Scholar, Mendeley, okay, and then easy access. For UPM, we have easy access. For UTM or Unimas, I'm not sure, but I'm really sure every institutions, they will provide um, uh, the access for the journal access for their student. Okay, but somehow it's quite frustrated, Azri, because most of my students, they do not know that the UPM offer this kind of services in UPM. Okay, even they do not know the name of easy access. It's kind of frustrated. Okay, so student, to all of you, make sure you make use all of these resources. Okay. Okay, and then the writing body. Okay, so to me, writing body is really important. It's really important and really helpful in my proposal writing, because sometimes when you write your proposal, you got stuck. Okay, you hang somewhere. You do not know how you do not see the ways out. Okay, so when you have the writing body, somehow you can have someone uh, that can assist you in terms of to check, okay, to double check your work. Okay, either it is acceptable or give comment to your work. Okay, and then you can also brainstorm the ideas together. Okay, and then I also call my writing buddy as emergency call buddy. Okay, because sometimes when I really need help in terms of the resources, in terms of uh, the debates, in terms of the facts that I want to add in my proposal, so then I have someone that I can refer to. Okay. Okay, so the next one is the selection of research interest. Okay, the selection of research interest, I thought this one you can read either in books or in articles online. There are a lot of ways to get the research interest. Okay, to me, it is better for you to have a research interest that is really familiar to you. Okay, if, let's say, you come from the manufacturing industry, so hopefully your research interest is related to manufacturing. Okay, manufacturing setting. Okay, and then if, let's say, you are from the university, perhaps it's according to your previous area during your bachelor. Perhaps, let's say, you comes from the human resource background. Perhaps you may find something related to human resource. Okay, and then if, let's say, you come from healthcare industry, so perhaps your research is related to something related to how to improve the healthcare system and so on. Okay, so why I choose this one is the most important point, because when you do research, it is better, it is good if, let's say, you have the sense of belonging for your own research. You have your own responsibility for your research. You have the attachment with your research. We as a supervisor or examiner, sometimes you can see either your proposal have soul or not. Okay, so that's why if let's say this, if let's say the student do not have the soul, do not put the soul inside of their writing, we as a reader or supervisor, we also didn't enjoy reading your proposal, because we can feel the soul if there is in your proposal. Okay, and then perhaps you can get the research interest based on the suggestion from the expert. Okay, the expert may be referred to to your supervisor, then maybe referred to the speaker when you attend any conference or workshop. Okay, and then it also can be based on the current issues. And then as for now, we have the COVID-19. Okay, so perhaps it can be a big punchline on you to find out uh, uh, the best research interest for you. Okay. Okay. So, but still, if let's say you still have no idea on what type of research that you, what research interest that you are going to do, okay, and then keep reading. Okay, keep reading. Okay. So, um, compared to the research title, okay, so because most of the students, when they come and see me, they say that they are so worried about their research title. So calm down. Okay, actually, no need for you to worry about your research title. The research title can be changed over time. Okay, but not your research focus. So that's why you need to have the research interest or research focus, be specific. Okay, and then you stick to that one. Okay, the research title can be changed over time, but no worries about that. Okay, but in terms of the research focus, this one you need to be very certain that what you are going to do. So do not simply change your research focus or research interest. Okay, so next one is about read and write. Okay, so to me, if let's say you still have no idea, keep reading. Okay, why reading? Okay, you write. Reading, write while reading. Okay, you just write. Even you still do not understand. When you read the journal, you are clueless. It's okay. You just, when you read, write. Okay, you try to practice that and make it as your habit. Okay, even to me, it is allowed for you just copy and paste. You just copy and paste from the article. If let's say you found a very interesting sentence in an article, okay, you just copy and paste that sentence on your document. Okay, and then make sure you put the complete citation or reference, and then you paraphrase later. Okay, do not worry about the paraphrasing. Okay, because you can do it later. Even you can do it after you use the Turnitin. Okay, but it is really important because somehow, if let's say when you read and then you think of on how to paraphrase, somehow you get your idea lost. You lost somewhere. Okay, so that's why you just keep reading and then just write. Okay, then think about how to paraphrase later when you have the complete citation or references. So you shouldn't worry that much. You can be able to link all, you can be able to connect all the ideas based on the articles, based on the literature that you read. Okay, so far, any question?
They will ask a question at the end of the our session, doctor, by 11:30.
11:30. So actually, Azri, I'm okay if let's say they want to ask a few questions. I'm okay with it.
Okay, I just noticed about some of the question that listed just now. So I
Mm-mm.
read first, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first question. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, the first question being asked is, Doctor, qualitative have no hypothesis in chapter 2, right? And And may know about pilot test for qualitative?
Okay, for qualitative, yes, for qualitative, there is no research hypothesis. Okay, because qualitative is basically is not related to test the theory. Okay, so there is no hypothesis testing for qualitative research. Okay, by the way, you should know the differences between uh, qualitative and quantitative. So the quantitative is more on testing the theory. You are going to test your theory, but qualitative somehow you want to come up with a new knowledge. Okay, and then it is not focusing on the testing for the theory. Okay, and then another one is pilot study. Pilot study for qualitative. Okay, basically, the term used for qualitative is a little bit different. For the basically for pilot study we use for quantitative, but for qualitative, somehow they need to have the what we call before you entering the field, you need to make sure that the research protocol that you develop is understandable by your informant. So actually you need to test that one as well. But for sure lah, you no need for you to run the reliability. No need for you to run the reliability, but you just need to make sure that the protocol, the research protocol developed based on your research questions are understandable by your research, by your informant. Okay, another question. Perhaps I answer your question. Okay, another
Okay,
question,
so
Azri.
okay, the another question is, I think this one is a general question from Caroline Liu. How
Mm.
to write a conceptual framework?
Conceptual framework. Okay. Conceptual framework, research framework. Okay, there are three framework. There are three kinds, or there are three types of framework when you do your literature review. Okay, the first one perhaps the conceptual framework or the research framework, or the third one the theoretical framework. Okay, so actually
Mm-hmm.
the conceptual framework is quite similar with research framework. Okay. So because even in my faculty, okay, my department use the term research framework, but another department they use conceptual framework.
Conceptual, yeah.
Okay, yes. So the research framework or conceptual framework somehow it just portray a framework that portray clearly the variables that you are going to test in your study. This one specifically for quantitative. Basically for qualitative, they do not have uh, the the research framework, but they do have that one on their finding section. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
how to develop it? It just after you identify your variables, okay, your IV, DV, IV independent variables, and then if let's say you have the mediator or moderator, and then you just draw them. Okay, it's very easy compared to research framework. Compared to theoretical framework. Theoretical framework is a little bit difficult. Okay, so any
Mm-hmm.
other question?
And this is my question about the conceptual framework. So means that the
Yes, yes.
conceptual framework or research framework will be presented in a diagram, is it?
Yes, the research framework will be should be presented in in a
Flowchart.
diagram. Sorry,
Mm.
Azri?
The meaning of the diagram means we have to be in a flowchart, is it?
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, if let's say I can show you the example of research framework. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I have one. Okay. Can you see, Azri?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so this is the example of the research framework by my bachelor student. Okay, so it is very
Mm-hmm.
easy. Okay, you have the independent variable, then you have the dependent variable. If let's say you have the third variable, either it is moderator or mediator, then you just locate it at the middle of between the independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, so this is the example of research framework. Okay, this is very easy. Okay, so any other question?
All right. It's actually so much of question here. So you would like to finish the presentation first, or we
No
continue
worries.
for the question?
And I really love to entertain all the question because it's much better as because
Okay,
now
all
I
right.
do not know what the students want.
Yeah, correct.
Uh,
I agree. Okay, so we continue with the question, yeah?
yeah.
Okay, all right. So the second question from our Indonesian students from UPM, Ananto Prabowo, he
Okay.
asked, I would like ask regarding references, how year old it must be, given the proposal is the preliminary.
Okay. So how old it should be?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. To me, there is no limitation in terms of how old your literature review or your reference should be, but somehow it depends on which section that you are writing. Okay, if let's say
Mhm.
you are writing on the background of the study, okay, if let's say you are now writing on the section of background of study, okay, it is strongly recommended for you to pick a very recent one. Okay, because when you are going to propose a certain research, you need to make sure that it is very research because you are going to solve a current issue, right? So you need to make sure, you need to show that the issue is existing now, okay, in
Mhm.
2020. So that's why in background of study, it is strongly recommended to have the recent references. But if let's say you're writing the theoretical part, okay, the theories part in literature review, somehow we cannot avoid because most of the theories being developed even you were not yet born, okay. So it is unavoidable. Okay, for you to cite the theories on the theory section. If let's say the references in 1976, 1961. Okay, it is acceptable. But okay, you just need to show that until today there are still people that cite their theory. Okay, so that you should do lah. That's the thing that you should do. There is no specific, but it is strongly recommended for you to have 1 to 5 years back. Okay, but sometimes in
Mhm.
certain cases we couldn't find the updated theory. Okay, but in terms of the background, you need to make sure that you have the recent references. Okay, certain, for example, background of study, and then the literature review, a little bit on the conceptual, when you conceptualizing your variables. Okay, but the theoretical part, but part theory, okay, somehow it is unavoidable because the most of the theories being developed even before you were born. Okay, so
Mhm.
next question, Azri.
Okay, question from Nur Jawahir binti Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
For the writing body, would you suggest for having someone in the same area of study as us?
Okay. Uh, it depends. Okay, if let's say you have someone in your area, it's good, and then if let's say you have someone else outside your area, it's also good. Okay, if let's say you have someone in your area, for sure you can see you can share a lot of things in terms of the similarity. For example, me myself in social science, so I do have someone in my area. Okay, but sometimes I also need someone that is not really familiar with my area because somehow they can add on uh, another perspective related to my study that
Mhm.
I can aware it when I just read the article because sometimes for me if let's say my area is more on performance management in terms of the HR perspective, but if let's say I manage to have a writing buddy from someone from engineering, okay, so it's complement it will complement my research proposal, okay, because they are
Mhm.
able to propose someone that I might not see. Okay, but okay, before I forgot, okay, be careful with your when you choose your writing buddy, be careful, okay, to avoid any plagiarism. Okay, be careful, just be careful in case it is strongly recommended for you to have the writing buddy, but be careful, make sure you really trust them. Okay, okay, any
All
other
right, the next
question?
question. Read and write habit. Doctor, write on paper or using any software?
Okay, read and write. I just use Microsoft Office. So that's why I said, make sure the medium that you use to save your file is accessible, either it is online or offline. Because sometimes I said the idea can pop up everywhere. Okay, so if let's say while chatting with your friend and the idea pop up, okay, so then you can access, for example, the Dropbox using your phone. Okay, because somehow the Dropbox allow you to edit your document online. Okay, and then I do not have the specific tools. I just use the Microsoft Office, and then I make use of it 100% because it's really helpful actually. The Microsoft Word. Okay, you just yeah, somehow if let's say you learn on how to use the navigation pane, and then a lot of a few more features in Microsoft Office, it's going to be very helpful to you. Okay, and the next
All right.
question.
Okay. What is the difference between conceptual and operational definition?
Okay, I'm waiting. See, bila ada soalan macam ni baru saya akan teringat Azri. Okay. Conceptual definition and operational definition. Conceptual definition is referring to the definition given by scholars. Okay, for example, in literature review, you conceptualize the definition of your variables, right? Okay. So the conceptual definition is basically one main definition by the scholar in the area, okay, that you think this is most prominent, okay, and then you highlight it under your conceptual definition. This is actually the most prominent, the most significant definition by the scholar in your area related to your variable. Okay, one definition. Meanwhile, the operational definition, okay, is specifically related to the variable that you use for your study, and then it will give a clear picture on how you are going to measure your variable. You want me to repeat again? Okay, in terms of operational definition, okay, it is specifically related to your study, okay, and then it gives a clear picture on how you are going to measure your variable. So meaning that when you come up with your operational definition, it will give you a clear picture in chapter 2 and chapter 3 on what type of instrument that you are going to use. That is the linkage between operational definition and with your instrument. Okay, if let's say you define, for example, philanthropic behavior consists of behavioral component, cognitive component. Okay, for example, I measure philanthropic behavior consists of two components of behavior and cognitive. So I make sure when in my instrument, okay, later in chapter 3, when I propose the instrument that I'm going to use, I'll have to make sure that my instrument covers these two sub-construct. They are the component of behavior, and then they are also component of cognitive.
Right.
So the operational definition should be clearly about your study, your research. Okay. Meanwhile, conceptual definition is actually just a concept. It's just big concept that is not necessarily related on how you measure it. Okay. For quantitative quantitative study, it is very significant for you to have both, but for quanti strongly depend on your operational definition. Okay.
Okay. Now next to go to Sumitra question. Good day, doctor. I would like to ask, how can we write the problem statement more interesting?
Okay. Okay. Problem statement. Okay. Problem statement. Okay, Azri, can you see this one? Can you see my Excel file, Azri?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You click already the present button?
present because someone else already took my place. Muhammad Firdaus Abdul Rahman.
Oh. Firdaus, can you switch off your present button to allow doctor to present the slide?
Okay, so actually there is a lot of ways to prepare your gap, your research gap, your problem statement or issue. Okay, this one is what I found. It's very interesting. Okay, so actually in terms of problem statement, so you can see now, Azri.
Not yet.
Not yet. I thought resume your presentation. Okay, wait now. Now can you see?
Still not appeared yet.
This one?
Okay, so you are using the Noormi alias.
This one? The Excel file?
Okay, sure, can see.
Okay, so this is the example that I thought it is very interesting. Okay, so actually there is a lot of ways for you to write your research statement of problem. The first one is you can show the research gap in terms of the evidence gap. Okay, the evidence gap can occurs with related to provocative exception arises if a few research findings contradict widely accepted conclusion. Okay, so if let's say the evidence gap, if let's say you found out when you read the article or the books, they said that the findings are contradictory with each other. Okay, so you can also make it as your make it as your statement, make it as your research gap. Okay, so for example, in 2010, the findings indicated A, for example, but in 2015, the findings showed different trend. Okay, so therefore, the word therefore, the keywords, for example, therefore, okay, further study need to be conducted to ensure to reconfirm the findings. Okay, so another one is knowledge gap. Okay, knowledge gap is related to the common related to two settings where a knowledge gap might occur. The first one is either the knowledge may not exist in the actual field to theory and literature, and then from related research domain, and the second, it might be the case that result of a study differs from that what was expected. Okay, so this is the knowledge gap, meaning that we expect something else to happen, but in actual, when after the researcher conducted the study, then the findings are different. Okay, another one is practical knowledge gap. Okay, this is just show the discrepancy between what as in practice. Okay, and then the methodological gap. Okay, this actually in terms of the methodological gap, there are a lot. Okay, if let's say a previous study mostly used qualitative and now you use quantitative. Okay, so it is also in terms of the gap. Okay, previous study mostly conducted in where, for example, in Sabah, Sarawak, but now you conduct your study in Semenanjung, Malaysia. Okay, and then another example, if let's say the sample previously the theory the study mostly use managers, but now your study want to test on the employees. Okay, so in terms of methodological gaps, there are a lot. Okay, if let's say you want this file later, I can share this file with Atira. Okay, then perhaps Atira will share with everybody. Okay, and then empirical gap and then theoretical gap. Okay, so the theoretical gap, okay, for example, the theoretical gap, when you study about when for example you have one theory, for example a theory of plant behavior, I thought the most common one. Okay, you need try to you need try to get you need to try to study this about this theory holistically. Okay, in terms of who's developed the theory, where's the when and where the theories is applicable to. Okay, after you knows everything, you study everything about the theory. Now you should be able to get the idea what is the weaknesses and then the strength of the theory. Okay, perhaps if let's say in your area, okay, there is no available theory uh, available on your area, then perhaps you have to use the theories from another area. So this is also when you adapt the theory from another area to your study, it is also can be one of the one of the theoretical gap for your study. Okay. So any other question, Azri?
Oh yes. Wait a minute, yeah. Okay, regarding to the MRO season now, so this question from okay, from Caroline Liu, we are conducting online interview. Do we need still to write out the protocol for it? This one is a question for qualitative.
Okay, so during MCO and then there's apa tu, the interview being conducted online.
Yeah.
So do we still need to write the research protocol?
Mm-mm.
Okay, the research protocol is just actually to assist you when you interview the respondent, to make sure that the answers given by the informant is actually answering your research question. So to me, if let's say you want to conduct your interview, either it is face to face or online, it is advisable for you to have the research protocol, because the protocol letter will help you to determine the teams, the research teams, the sub teams for your findings letter lah. It's going to be very helpful letter. Okay, so better you prepare your research protocol.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So, from Caroline Liu also, just double confirm, conceptual framework should be in finding, theory framework will be at chapter 2.
Okay, theoretical. Okay, for quantitative research, okay, all the framework should be in chapter 2. Okay, and then
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct.
okay, but some lecturer or some school of thought, they say that the research framework should be in chapter 3. Okay, it depends. But to me, I prefer chapter 2, because after you review the whole thing, and then at the end of chapter 2, you come up with the summary of the review, in which it is your research framework. Okay, this one is for quantitative. Okay, both research framework and theoretical framework should be in chapter 2. But for qualitative, okay, because they do not have, for qualitative, they do not have specific framework. Okay, because qualitative, they try to figuring out things, they try to figuring out situations. So actually for qualitative, there is no framework in chapter 2, but perhaps the framework will be in their findings letter. Okay, in their
Okay,
findings in
all right.
chapter 4 or chapter 4.
Okay, now this is a new question for me also from Erna Nadira. Salam and hi doctor and everyone all. For the underpinning theory, we need to emphasize on the predictor variables or outcome variables. Second question, how can we actually integrate all the study variables with the theory?
Okay, so the first one is when you are looking for the theory, either it is related to your dependent variable or the independent, right?
Mhm.
The second one is the second question.
Second is how can we actually integrate all the study variables with the theory?
Okay, it's quite difficult question. Okay, but it is interesting. Okay, for the underpinning theory. Okay, for the first question, for underpinning theory, when you start your searching for the theory, please start from your dependent variable. Do not start the searching from independent variable, because dependent
Mhm.
variable. That's why when I said that stick to your research focus, meaning that research focus is your dependent variable. Okay, this is for quantitative, eh? Okay, so be certain with what area that you are going to do, and then stick to that one. So when you choose your theory letter should highlight on the dependent variable. Okay, so the theory, the explanation about the theory should focusing on dependent variable rather than independent variable. So why I said that it should start with your dependent variable. Okay, a good theory, okay, a good theory should be able to emphasize, okay, everything about every single thing about your dependent variable. Okay, a good theory should be able to describe the characteristics of your DV, okay, the weaknesses, the strength, okay, if let's say what are the factors influencing your DV, and then if let's say the DV happens, so what's next? Okay, so
Mhm.
this is the features of a theory. A theory should be able to explain what are the factors, and then if let's say the DV happens, so what's next? Okay, so now the question is either how to relate your
Integrate.
how to
Uh,
integrate or how to relate your DV and then your
Several.
IV, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why when you really understand your theory, okay, so really the understanding of your theory is really important. Understanding meaning that you need to read the whole thing about your theory. You need to know who's developed the theory. You need to know where the theory being developed, when the theory developed. Okay, what is the first perspective of the one who developed that theory. Okay, so that you can see the whole thing. You can see the whole thing about the theory. Okay, so because again I said that a good theory they should be able to explain clearly about your DV and then what are the factors influencing your DV. Okay, then how you link is actually from there. Okay, from the theory,
Mhm.
from the DV, let's say you see from the DV, okay, what are the components, what are the influences that um, influence that contribute your DV to happen, and then if let's say your DV happens, so what's next? Okay, if let's say you still unable to link between your DV and IV, then you should read further regarding your theory. Okay, make sure you read everybody's articles or books related that use your theory. Okay, search everything about your theory. That the main point lah that I can highlight.
All right.
Okay, okay. Another question, Azri.
Okay, from Pangui.
Azri, I couldn't hear you, Azri. Hello, Azri.
You get
Azri.
the answer? You get the question?
Sorry, sorry, Azri. I couldn't hear your voice just a while.
Okay.
Can you?
I repeat again.
Okay.
Question from Pangui. Where is it? Yeah. Pangui. The Pangui asked just now. For the literature review, can I get information from references other than journals? Is it worth for us to put inside the thesis?
Okay, for sure, yes. Okay, my answer is yes. Because somehow the journal, uh, the statistics, for example, posted in journal is quite outdated sometimes lah. Okay, so
Mm.
then also you can use the reports by, you can also use the reports by Ministry, by Department of Statistics Malaysia. You can use, even you can also use you can also use the news sometimes. If let's, to highlight that the issues is really significant is currently happening, then you also can use the news either online, either the hard copy, and then the reports, and then what else, the books. You can use all that resources, but it just the weaknesses of using news mostly. Okay, because somehow if let's say you use the online webs online URL, the URL itself can change within 2 or 3 years. So that's the main weaknesses lah. Because if let's say someone read your paper or article letter, and then when they try to refer to the original source, so the original source might missing. Okay, but depend compared to news, I thought the report provided by the government, the ministry, it is more solid lah. Okay, because if let's say once you publish the report, it is there unless the link is removed lah. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so next is Tai Leong Lai. How do we mention that the old theory is still being cited recently?
Okay. Okay, what I use how to make sure that the theories used in your study been cited recently. Okay, this is a skill for you when you use tools. For example, the library tools that I mentioned to all of you just now. Okay, for example, if let's say you use the Google Scholar, okay, I'll show you the Google Scholar. Okay. Okay, Aziz, can you see my screen? You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, for example, I want to show because for example, the example that I use is theory of plant behavior, in which it's been developed, I thought in 1995 or 2005. So okay, so now I want to make sure, I want to search that this theory is also being used in 2020. So I just search. Okay. So it's appear like this, right? The first one is 1991 here by Eisen. Okay, this is the one who developed the theory actually, Eisen. Okay, how I want to know either it is recently used, then I just click the since 2020, so I can see. So for example, environmental behavior through the lens of the theory of plant behavior. So I can say that this still being used in 2020. It's very easy. It's just a matter of skill. Okay. So I hope I answered that question.
Okay, all right.
Mm.
So this question also is also interest me to go for a search also, because sometimes on in my thesis I also cited the previous, I mean the old theory inside my thesis also. Okay, so from Lipika Roy, in academic research, what need to focus to write research objective?
What you need to focus on research objective. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lai. Okay. Okay. For your research objective, also I hope that I apply that this is for quantitative research. Okay. When you write your research objective for quantitative research, okay, basically we arrange in terms of the arrangement first. In terms of arrangement, we start with the objective that is related to level of statistics that you are going to use. Okay, because your objective now is connected to your types of analysis that you are going to use. Because that's why even though you're just writing your proposal for chapter 1, you should be able to see what will happen to your chapter 4 on chapter 5. You can predict already. Okay, so that's why it is very important for you to have a necessary skills related to research. Okay, so when you write your research objective, okay, for quantitative research, okay, make sure in terms of the arrangement, objective number 1, objective number 2, objective number 3 is related to your level of analysis that you use. Okay, so basically for the first objective, we use a simple research, we use a simple analysis. So simple analysis in statistics is descriptive analysis. So basically the first objective going to be to determine the level, of your variable IV or DV. It is not compulsory. It is not compulsory, but it is mostly how we do it. Okay, to determine the level of independent variable, either it is low, moderate, or high. That one is the first objective. The second one is basically either you want to determine the differences or the correlation. If let's say to determine the differences, perhaps in chapter you can check in your chapter 4, the type of analysis will be the t-test, ANOVA, and so on. The third one probably on the correlation. Okay, because in statistics we have the descriptive analysis, and then we have the comparison, analysis related to comparison, analysis related to correlation, and then lastly regression. So perhaps on your fourth objective will be to determine factors influencing. Okay, so when you write your research objective, it should be very direct. Okay, to determine what? To determine the correlation, to predict the influence of what to what. Okay, very precise, very clear, and then it is linked to your data analysis in chapter 3 and chapter 4. Okay, that's how we do it.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Wan Ping San, she asked, for all dependent and independent variable must include conceptual and operational definition.
Okay. So basically, for your conceptual definition, you can include anything that you want. Conceptual definition. Okay, anything. If let's say your title is related to the influence of influence of enthusiasm on philanthropic behavior. So perhaps you can include the word behavior in your conceptual definition. You can include the philanthropy, anything. In terms of conceptual definition, you can include anything. Okay, but for your operational definition, just include the studied variables only. Okay, if let's say your study have 4 independent variables, 1 mediator and then 1 DV, so include all these 6 variables under your operational definition. Okay, so your operational definition just focus on the studied variables. Meanwhile, for the conceptual definition, you can include everything. Okay, I hope I
Alright.
answered that one, Azri.
Okay, thank you. So next question from Ima Elias. They have two questions.
Okay.
Does it call hybrid theory if we combine theory? For example, theory of plant behavior and social influence theory.
Okay, I'm not sure either it is the hybrid theory. The term is hybrid theory or the integration of the theory. Because if let's say you are in the process of developing your theoretical framework, you are strongly recommended to integrate, because if let's say in your study you have 4 variables, you have 4 IVs and then 1 DV. Okay, the first theory that you choose just able to explain the relationship between the first 2 IVs and then your DV. But the next two the last 2 IVs, you have to use another theory, for example. So meaning that you need to integrate these 2 theories to come up with your research framework. So I thought the right term is the integration of theory, not the hybrid theory. But I'm not sure in your area lah, unless there is a researcher stated that yes, this is the hybrid theory in which you combine the 2 theory. But the word integration and combine are totally different. Okay, the combine meaning that you have you have 2 different things, but you try to match them. Okay, but for the integration, you have 2 different things. Okay, you try to make it synchronized. Okay, integration is you try to synchronize the 2 different things, like how your blood flows in your body. Okay, that's how you integrate. So sometimes there is certain part your vessel link with each other, and then but certain part they will go into the different part. Okay, that's how you integrate the theory. Okay, but the term in your either it is the hybrid theory, if let's say they combine, I'm not sure. But to me, I prefer to use the integration of the theory.
Can we combine more than two theory, doctor?
Sure, it's not combine, it's
Oh, okay.
integrate.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
Integrate.
The next question. Okay, some of the question I will not ask inside the our conversation because it's repeating again. Okay, the
Okay,
next question is from Munifah Siti Amira Binti Yusuf, you from UPM. Can we
okay.
use model as our dependent variable? For example, directly use Kirkpatrick model, learning behavior, etc. as DB or IB.
Okay, so before I explain at that, okay, I would like to just explain to you a little bit different between uh, theories, concept, theories, and model. Okay. Okay. So theories actually just explain roughly. Okay. So actually the concept is just to explain the definition of your variables. It's very on the surface only. But the theory. Okay, the theory is actually before someone develop a theory, it comes from the concept first. They conceptualize, and then later then they come up with the testing, the test, and then after the test few times they come up with the research model. Sorry, with the model, and then after few years of testing, and then it's already solid, then we come up with the theory. Okay, so model then theory. Okay, theory somehow it's very solid. Okay, so referring to the question, okay, is it acceptable to use the model? Okay, if let's say in your area there is no theory, and then yes, it is acceptable. But in terms of which one is much stronger, my suggestion is theory. Theory because it's already been tested for 1,000 times. Okay, to come up with the solid theory. Okay, so model it is still questionable, but it's acceptable if let's say there is no theory. For example, the in training for sure most of us will use the Kirkpatrick.
Okay, all right. Most of our audience is asking about the theoretical framework. So, from Ilda Salwani, maximum how many theory can be used in the theoretical framework?
Maximum. Okay. There is no minimum and maximum. Okay, but don't be too many. Okay, don't be too many. Okay, so basically for sure the theory, if let's say you writing your proposal in the theoretical section, perhaps the minimum is one. Okay, but I thought one theory is even my bachelor student already used two theories, so I thought for master science perhaps two, at least two, right? Okay, so to me my suggestion is your theory should not exceed four. Between 2 and 4 still acceptable. Then, but most of my students they just use between 2 and 3. Because when you have too many theories, it's very difficult for you to integrate. It is very difficult for you to come up with your theoretical framework. So that's why limit the number of the theory. Okay, so between 2 or 3, but shouldn't exceed 4. Okay, there is no citation. Okay, if let's say you ask me where's the source, I have no citation. But based on my experience, when you have the two or three theory, is already wire enough for you to come up with the theoretical framework. So my suggestion is just between 2 or 3, but in just few cases you need 4, then proceed 4, but do not exceed 4. It's very difficult.
Okay. From Maha Al Gohani, should we use a new theory of arrival, and is it a new theory a reason for a choose the theory?
Again, Azri.
Okay, his grammar is quite bad here. Should we use the new theory of variable, and is it the new theory will affect to the theory?
Should we use the new theory? Okay, you can use the new theory. It's very interesting. If let's say you use the new theory, but you should be open for any flaws or argument later lah. Okay, so the new
Yes.
theory. Okay, so the strength of when you use of the new theory is you can locate in under your statement of problem that this theory is still new in the area, and then therefore a lot studies need to be conducted to test on the applicability of the theory. So it can be included in your statement of problem. So that one of the strength. Yes. Okay, but the weaknesses is perhaps in your area, okay, there is another theory in which there has been established for quite some time that is actually can be able to explain better in terms of the relationship between your IV and DV. So make sure before you choose your theory, you study enough. Okay, you study the whole thing. What are the list of the theories that have the tendency to be used in your area? What are the weaknesses? What are their strengths, weaknesses? You need to study well. Okay, the list of the theory, then you choose better. Because when you do your research, you cannot simply pick. Okay, because master science or PhD, it is about a conscious decision. Any decision that you do, any theory that you choose, okay, it is from it is from a thorough study. Okay, you already research what are the available theories, what are their strengths and weaknesses, and then you choose one. Okay, so then meaning that if let's say someone asks you why you choose this theory and so on, what are the weaknesses, then you are well prepared to answer their question. Okay, even though you use new theory, and then for example your examiner said that there is actually another theory, so why you use this theory. But if let's say you study enough, you can explain why you use the new theory instead of the old one.
Okay, all right. So this from Faiza Tunisa. In your opinion, how many pages is the best for proposal?
Best break. Okay. It depends. Siapa tadi nama? Hafiza.
Faiza Tunisa.
Okay, Faizal Tunisa. Okay, it depends on your on your and on your what types of proposal that you are doing. Okay, if let's say, so I prefer I refer if like I refer your question is referring to your academic proposal. So for academic proposal, there is no minimum or maximum. Okay, but for chapter 1 perhaps 10 pages. Chapter 2 perhaps 20 pages. Chapter 3 about 7 pages should be enough. But if let's say you are preparing the proposal for the research grant, okay, somehow the grant the number of pages only limited to 5 to 10. Okay, so you have to be able to simplify everything. Okay, but for proposal, for academic proposal, I thought in total of 40 pages should be enough.
And yet we can continue for use in our thesis, is it?
Okay. So for thesis proposal, the more is better. Not the more is better. Okay, the thorough is better. Because the quality of a proposal cannot be explained described by the number of pages. But because sometimes even my master student have less than 100 pages, but yeah, she's doing good. Okay, depends on how thorough you review your literature. Okay, but do not depend on the number of pages. It just depends. If let's say, in 5 pages you can include all everything in your chapter 1 thoroughly, then it should be okay. Okay, but just sometimes it depends on people, depends on your skill. Sometimes some people they have a good skill in simplifying their ideas, but some people they have some obstacles in simplifying the ideas, the facts. So they need more space. So it depends on people and depends on the area that you are studying.
Okay, all right, thank you. This one is from UMS, University Malaysia Sabah, Nur Syafiqah binti Kasim. Doctor, I want to ask for my research objective. My supervisor advised me not to put the descriptive in my objective. Is it okay?
Okay, if let's say you do not have your supervisor do not have, okay. It is okay because it is not compulsory. Okay, so if let's say your title, the title of your study is factors influencing consumer behavior, for example, factors influencing consumer behavior. So the most, based on your title, the most important, the important objective should be factors influencing consumer behavior. So if let's say the descriptive analysis is just the add-ons, it is not compulsory. Okay, the most important thing is you answer the research. The overall research is answering your to your research title. It's reflecting to your research title. So the descriptive analysis is not compulsory. Just what most of us do. Okay.
Okay, all right. So next question. Okay, from Amir. In literature review, we are expected to critical evaluate the literature, identify themes and gaps, then synthesize what you have learned to provide a reader with a better understanding of the literature related to the topic. How to make a good critical literature review?
Okay, how to make a good literature review. Okay. Um, okay, so to make a good literature review, to me, make sure you strategize your work from the very beginning. Okay, to start your literature review, perhaps you can come up with the you came up with the strategy. For example, for me, I strongly suggest my student to use Excel. Okay. So you for example, another lecturer they may suggest you to use the name Eagle Eyes. Okay, it depends. Okay, it depends on this on your work strategy. So if let's say you use the you work systematically by using Excel, for example. So uh, uh, you state your the concept. For example, you state about the concept, the definition. For example, the definition of your DV. For example, first, okay, the first scholar stated the definition A. Okay, and then the second scholar, the definition is quite different. Okay, the third one, the third scholars give a definition quite similar to to the first author. Okay, the first definition then again different. Okay, so actually even based on the conceptual definition, based on the different definition given by scholar, you can also include as your statement of problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so actually when you review all this thing, okay, when you have the systematic ways to come up, you have the systematic ways of doing work, it's actually one of the way to come up with good literature review. Okay, so make sure you have a good system, work system. Okay, so then you can aware. So what have you reviewed, what not yet been reviewed? Because if let's say you didn't have a proper work strategy, you might forgot because to write you need to read a lot. Okay, but to read a lot we couldn't remember what we already read, right? What we already read. So that's why try to strategize your work, okay, by having a good work strategy. To me, I prefer to use Excel, okay, when I
Mm-hmm.
start to review the literature. Okay, so
Okay.
I hope I
All right.
answered that question, Azri.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the person who are asking already said it's clear. So from Markawi, Abil Dira yourself. Oh, the name is so special. From UPM, what is the difference between the model and the framework?
Model. This
Yeah,
one,
this one is refers to PhD, is it?
sorry again.
Um, his question is it referred to PhD proposal or actually common the words model that he asking.
Okay, actually the model is referring to apa tu, an explanation in terms of it's quite similar but different with theory. Model is
Mm-hmm.
actually some mechanism, okay, that explain the
Oh.
interlink between your variable. Meanwhile, the framework is your framework, your own framework that subject to be tested. Okay, so the framework is referring to either your research framework or theoretical framework. Meanwhile, the modeling is a mechanism that can explain the linkage between your IV or DV, or
Mm.
that can explain about your study lah. Okay.
And this related to PhD, master, and
Yes, yes, yes. Hello Azri. Alamak, tak dengar dah Azri.
is it related to master, PhD, and undergraduate overall?
Yes, yes, Azri.
Okay, all right. Okay, so from Ananto Prabowo UPM, okay, this is quite a long question. My lecturer taught us SPSS in research method. However,
Mm.
it is legally expensive to own. Is there any alternative software allowed by UPM that you can recommend that I need to do OLS regression, panel regression, multivariate regression, and so on lah. So can you get the answer, the question there?
Okay, Ananto
The
Prabowo.
alternative.
Okay,
Ah.
Ananto Prabowo. Okay, the alternative software. Okay, for the time being, I can suggest you there are two softwares. The first one is Jaspi. Okay, if let's say you can see my screen, can you see Azri? Azri, can you see?
Not yet.
Not yet. This one also
I
I thought.
try
Okay,
to. Okay,
Yes, can
I can
see.
see now.
can see right? Okay, so this
Okay,
is
sure.
sorry. So this is the first one, Jaspi. Okay, but Jaspi, this one is this is the first, I thought the first free available software for data analysis that I thought is quite friendly, user friendly, in which when you run, they come up with the table in APA format directly without any adjustment needed. Okay, but this one is for the free version. I thought it's quite limited lah, but still you can use. Okay, in terms of the descriptive, t-test, ANOVA, regression, frequency, then factor
Mm-hmm.
analysis as well. So this one is the first one. The second one is PSPP. This is, can you see this one,
Yeah.
Azri?
Yes, sure.
So this is the second one. This is also 100% free.
Mm.
Yes. So it is also very interesting.
Free for
Okay,
trial or free for a long time?
this one free of charge for
Oh,
the whole version. But
okay.
SPP the version the version is 100% free, and then it is including everything. Okay. But this
Mm-hmm.
one for Jaspi, I thought this one is for it's not trial version, but it has another pro version lah. But I thought for master and PhD level, based on the analysis indicated and in the toolbar, I thought it is already enough code. We have descriptive, then t-test. I thought a lot, all the t-test covered here, and then ANOVA, regression, and then you also have frequencies and then factor analysis. So for the time being, that these two, I suggest these two analysis lah as the alternative for the SPSS software.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. From North Alpha, Fatima binti Nazmi, she asked for the latest research proposal example for her to refer. Is there
Sure,
any
sure.
changes, doctor?
Again?
Actually, is it have any changes for every year?
In terms of the formatting, are you
Yeah.
referring to? No, I thought in terms of the formatting, we still follow the one that determined by School of Graduate Studies. Just follow that one.
Okay.
But
Because
even if
sometimes there will be some of the manipulative reason lah from the student also they will ask about is there any changes of format because sometimes they got from the latest reference from their lecturer and then the other team give them the different the different reference so for sure maybe you can make all the students clear that there's no any changes of format regarding for the proposal defense.
okay, in terms of proposal, preparing your proposal, in terms of the formatting, you better referring to your own institutions. But as
Mm.
for UPM, for the time being, we still just follow what has been published or what has been recommended by the School of Graduate Studies. But sometimes it also depends on the institutions or the faculty. For example, in terms of the formatting for engineering faculty, probably will be different from the School of Management or even for the school for the Faculty of Educational Studies. It depends on the area as well when we write our research proposal. But every faculty or department, they have their own formatting, and then I thought you just try to follow that format lah.
Okay,
Mm.
okay, all right. So it's
Mm.
means that it depends on the field or depends on the faculty
Yeah.
management.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So from Ame, how to differentiate between literature review in chapter 2 and discussion in chapter 4 in order to avoid the repetition of statement.
Okay. So literature review, you should highlight all the necessary arguments, debates related to your study. Okay. And then meanwhile, for chapter 4, it is about discussion. Discussion
Mm.
discussion, you shouldn't cite any other authors other than what been cited in your chapter 2. Okay, so in
Mm-hmm.
chapter 4, you should just highlight what already been stated in your chapter 2. If let's say in chapter 2 you figure out that you need another citation that not yet been cited in your chapter 2, meaning that your chapter 2 need some improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when even though you are currently writing your chapter 4 and 5, okay, you are somehow need to improve your chapter 1 to 3 accordingly. So
Oh, it's
sometimes,
really effect, yeah.
sometimes
Mm.
when we discuss about our findings, so our finding is quite different with our literature, right?
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
then how we improve our chapter 2 again?
Mm.
So that how we update, we improve the chapter 1 and chapter 1, 2, 3 again based on the findings of our study. Okay, so in
Mm-hmm.
chapter 4, you just cite the authors that already been cited in your chapter 2.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think this one is okay. The second last question from Abu Bakar Muhammad Chubado UPM. In
Mm-hmm.
terms of methodology, is it advisable to use software for data analysis in qualitative research?
Okay, for qualitative research, the available software, perhaps we have the NVivo, and then we have what else? Uh, I thought another one, NVivo. I forgot another one. Okay. Then another option is either you use the manually, right? Either you manually analyze, develop your team without any software. Okay, so Abu Bakar, it depends. It depends on your preference actually, because somehow the software is just a tool. Okay, because for qualitative data, it's very difficult actually to manage. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it depends on your preference. Some of the researcher, they prefer to use the software, okay, but some they prefer to use manual. It just depends. Okay, it is there is no best way. But if let's say you think that you are technology savvy, then you can use the computerized tool. But if let's say by using the manual, it help you to understand your research better. Okay, then go for manual.
Mm-hmm. Actually, what do you mean by using manual? Because I also even heard about how can we use a manual method to
Okay,
calculate all the data.
manual is okay. For qualitative, to manually analyze, basically before you start to analyze, then you get familiarized with your findings first. You just read few
Mm-hmm.
times until you remember. Okay, and then after that, you try to use the highlighter, the pencil to highlight. Okay, this team, this sentence belongs to which team. Okay, and then some of the researcher, they prefer to cut the paper. Okay, they come
Mm-hmm.
up with mahjong paper. Okay, the big paper. Okay, they cut, and then if let's say the similar teams, they locate it in one place. I heard one of my senior last time. Okay, during his PhD study, what he did was, okay, he used the manual way in which he cut the paper. Okay, and then he cut, and then he put it on the mahjong paper. Okay, he combined the similar themes in one place. It's just like you develop a mind map, but manually. Hello, Azri, can you hear me? Azri, hello, Azri.
Is it clear?
Hello, Azri.
Yeah, are you clear now?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
So that's how we can do it lah. You manual meaning that either you use the highlighter, the pencil,
Mm-hmm.
then you come up with the mind map. It depends. That's how we do it. Cut the paper, come out, use the mahjong paper.
Mm.
It's just like a
That was
puzzle.
what we call as a manual lah.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Tu saya boleh rajin buat macam tu je.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Nadia binti Muhammad Yusof, the IT Center of Uni should provide all these softwares free, need not to buy. So, how about your opinion?
It's a very tough question. Referring to our financial right now. But there's a lot of ways, so no worries. Actually, in terms of the analysis, in terms of I thought SPSS. You can ask for your IT admin at your faculty, because, for example,
Yeah, correct.
Faculty of Educational Studies, yeah, the university provide that software. Okay,
Previously, during I'm done my master, I refer to our librarian of faculty. They will guide
yes.
us to use it.
Just refer to the IT admin at your faculty or institution.
Mm-mm.
Basically, they provide with that tools.
Yes, correct. Okay, the next question from Tai Leong Lai. Would you recommend us to identify what information we may cite in the discussion before writing a literature review to ensure that we don't have to modify the literature review that often.
Okay, a recommendation on information that we may cite in the discussion before we write a literature review to ensure that, to ensure?
To ensure that
Okay,
to
type.
ensure that we don't have to modify the
Okay,
literature
type.
review.
Okay, actually, the recommendation there is no recommendation type because sometimes okay because when we do research, our research will not be completed within 6 months. Okay, somehow it takes for minimum one year and a half, 2 years. So in that period of time, okay, the situation changing. Okay, the new ideas, the new situation keep happening. So that's why you need to keep updating. Okay, but but to avoid a massive improvement, perhaps in your when you do your literature review, okay, you prepare enough. Okay, you read enough. Okay, you read enough so to prepare the minimum changes in your literature review. So that's my suggestion. So meaning that before you proceed to your chapter 4 and 5, you have proper reading. You have ample reading. Okay, you studied everything related to your area. Okay, the do's and the don't and so on, so that it will avoid the massive changes for your chapter 2 when you are already preparing to submit your thesis.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay. So okay, Jennifer, Julius ask you, can we see sample of the margin paper manually method?
Can we see sample on the margin paper manually method? What does it mean?
Yeah,
What
she
does
want
it
you to share the sample, the what we call it, the yeah, like the module that you have been taught by you from your senior.
Oh, so meaning that, oh, okay. So meaning that
Uh,
you want to see how I do it.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you did
Okay, can you
also the
see me?
manual before.
Yes, a lot of time
Oh.
when I assist my student, most of the time I just use manual. So the manual,
Mm-hmm.
because I do not have the qualitative. For example, you have the themes here. The manual is actually, okay, so you have the transcript or the transcript because after you interview, okay, then you you transcribe your apa tu your voice recording into verbatim version. Okay, and then perhaps you have the list here, right? You have the listing. So perhaps the answer given by informant, you cut that. Okay, you cut them. Okay, then after reading few times of the transcribe, okay, and then you already got certain idea what are the themes. For example, I give the example of I ask, for example, one of the question that I asked to my informant is what types of meal, what is your favorite meals? So
Mm-hmm.
the first one said that I really love nasi ayam. The second one is they said that he love nasi lemak. The third one is he said that he love mee goreng. The third one is mee hoon, for example. Okay, so based on these four answers, okay, so the second one is about rice. Okay, nasi
Mm-hmm.
lemak and nasi ayam, for example. So I locate them. This is rice. Okay, so the first theme that I developed, rice. So I put it rice. Okay, on the margin paper, I just write rice. Okay, and then under my transcribe, okay, who's the one who said that they like the nasi ayam, and then I cut the paper and then I locate it. Okay, and then the
Mm-hmm.
second one is me. Mihun and me is under me. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I locate these two answer to another team. Okay, it's quite similar when you use the en vivo, but it just this one you just need to cut the paper because the answer can be very long answer. Okay, so that's why you need a very big paper. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
even the margin paper you need to combine with few margin paper, and then perhaps you need to use the whole wall on your on at your home. That's how we do it lah. Because now I do not have because I'm not prepared with the example of on how to do the qualitative data analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh,
Okay, so we are now at the end of the session. So we'll just try to finish another two questions with a simple answer. Okay, from
Sure.
Amir, for PhD level, is it compulsory to have moderator and mediator variable in order to make PhD contribution?
Okay, mediator and moderator, is it compulsory? Okay. At the university level, there is no such requirement. There is no such formal requirement that you need to come up with the mediator or moderator. But
Mm-hmm.
somehow, at the PhD level, because at the bachelor level, during your bachelor, uh, basically the relationship you already test the direct between perhaps two IVs and then one DV. And then when you do
Mm-hmm.
your master science, perhaps you add on another two IVs, and then you have four IVs and then one DV. So perhaps for your PhD, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
just need to add another level of complexity of your study, but it is not compulsory. Okay, it is not compulsory to have the mediator or moderator. It just to better explain. The mediator or moderator is actually to better explain, because the PhD is related to the depthness of your study. Okay, not the
Mm-hmm.
brightness, the depthness of your study. So when you add the mediator or the moderator, it's actually you are able to explain more. Okay, more about your DV, about your area. Okay, you explain, you explore more. The depthness to more compared to those who just testing on a direct, because one phenomenon, okay, it's happened probably because of another variable. Okay, it is
Okay.
because of your IVs influence another variable, so that only then your DV prone to happen. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is not necessarily because of the direct relationship. It is not compulsory. It is advisable. Okay, to just but sometimes I thought even my student, there are some student of mine, they just
Mm-hmm.
test the direct relationship, but the complexity of the study,
Mm-hmm.
their study is more on the design. Perhaps they
Okay.
use the experimental design instead of the correlational design. Okay, so somehow the complexity not necessarily based on your framework, sometimes based on your design. So because when you want to conduct your experimental design, you need to have a control group and experimental group. So to come up with the test, it takes time. So the complexity of your research is on design. Okay, not necessarily on the research framework alone. Okay, it depends.
Okay, so
Hmm.
I directly read for the two last questions. So directly, Doctor give the conclusion for our session also. So the first one, Ananto Prabhu again. How do you know the difference between research in CSR and ESG? As I research the tools to get rating for CSR, but it turned out more rating on ESG. So what do you think? Should I go for CSR or ESG? This was the first question, and the last question from Maha Al Gohani. Doctor, in methodology section, what I should write if my student is quantitative, survey, random sample, could you tell us an important keywords?
Okay, banyak tu. Okay, Ananto Prabowo. Okay, what do you know the difference how do you know the difference between research in CSR and ESG? CSR referring to what, Ananto? CSR, corporate social responsibility, or ESG referring to what? Ticket rating for CSR. I'm not really sure about the term.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the next one is
From Maha. Methodology
Maha.
section, what I should write if my students. Yeah. Another says CSR refers to corporate social responsibility.
Okay, ESG.
ESG ada environmental, social governance.
Okay, so now the answer. Okay, so how do you know the difference between research? Okay. Okay, Ananto, it depends on your refer to your conceptual definition first, and then come up with your operational definition. So for corporate social responsibility, uh, it is actually the definition, what I know lah. Okay, the definition of corporate social responsibility is more broad compared to environmental social governance. So somehow the corporate governance, perhaps there might be some underpinning, but there are differences. So whatever term that you want to use, it depends on how you operationalize your variables, either CSR or ESG. It depends. Okay. Okay. Another question. Maha
Yeah,
Algohani.
Maha.
Which one is the question, Azri?
Yeah, what I should write if my students if is quantitative survey and random sample. Can you tell us an important keywords?
How to write a random sample? Is that the question?
Mm, he mentioned here how should I write if my student is quantitative survey and random sample. Can you tell us an important?
How if my student if again again
Hmm.
the methodology section, what I should write if my student is quantitative,
Quantitative.
okay,
Uh-huh.
survey or random sample. Okay. Okay. I'm not really sure, but I try. Okay. For quantitative, okay. If there are a few design under the because quantitative is a bigger paradigm. Okay, so under the bigger paradigm, we have a few design. We have survey design. Survey design is not similar to correlational research design. Survey design is not and also survey under the research design, it is not equal to the questionnaire that you use. Okay, in which there is a specific term that saying that survey can be one design under the research under research design under quantitative. Okay, so we have a survey design, correlational research design, we have ex post facto, we have what else? We have I forgot a few more. Okay, so I forgot a few more. But basically, if let's say most of the social science researcher, we use correlational research design. Okay, and then random sample. Can you tell us an important keyword? Actually, Maha Al-Gohani, I don't really get your question. Perhaps you
Yeah.
can pose it again. I tried, but I couldn't.
And then the last question, doctor. Which lecture I think provide knowledge of MANOVA? I did not find in the basic or MLR courses. Is it in the advanced courses?
Okay, MANOVA. Okay, multiple analysis of variant. Okay, I'm not sure the availability. By the way, from which faculty are yours? Okay, so actually Faculty of Educational, I'm not promoting, but actually Faculty of Educational Studies, we have one courses on advanced statistics. So basically, and then the lecturer is Prof Bahaman. So I thought you may refer to the Faculty of Educational letter.
All right.
Okay, there's no more question.
Yeah. There's no more questions. So, all right. So, Alhamdulillah, Dr. Noormi, we just finished for our discussion together, our conversation with all the team members today. So, until now, we have a 90 audience who are still with us until now for 2 hours. So, Alhamdulillah, thank you very much to all our audience and especially to Dr. Noormi. I think it's because of Dr. Noormi, so the audience has too much of people join together. Because last week we do our workshop only 32 students. Maybe because it is because of first time. So this time we do for the second time. Alhamdulillah, we have a 3 times involvement from our audience, especially from UPM. So inshallah. As a host for our workshop today, I feel glad. Thank you to our Dr. Noormi Alias. This is my first time also knowing you. So inshallah we will meet. I am actually from Faculty of Forestry, UPM. I'm just finished for my master and inshallah will pursue for my PhD soon. Still I under Faculty of Forestry and Environment. Because the previous master I did for module evaluation.
Oh,
Together with Dr. Saidun for one of my committee
okay.
together.
Okay.
So today I invited by my team of chapter yours to become a host together with you to conduct this workshop. Inshallah, for the audience, we will provide you for the next third workshop with Dr. Murshid from the same faculty also. Regarding to qualitative sharing, more to qualitative method sharing. To the audience, you can go to our Telegram group, which is named Postgraduate Live Channel. So try to invite all your friends together inside there. So we will share for every workshop during PKP and MRO for us to join every week. Every Wednesday, inshallah.
Okay. So perhaps
Yeah.
before I left, okay, before I leave, okay. So perhaps I will share the notes apa tu the note the slides and as well as the Excel file with with Atira, and then hopefully later Atira will share with everybody later. Okay. So Azri? Hello Azri.
Inside the group. Hello,
Okay.
are you clear me?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Don't worry about the file and so on. So we will continue. We will upload inside the group of Telegram. So, Doctor, will you like to enter our group? Listen, there are hundreds people inside there. Most of the variety of a campus. So we every promotion of workshop we will provide, or any volunteers program, any sharing program we will invite inside the group also. All right, so thank you very much again, Dr. Noormi, Alias. So hopefully we will go for next cooperation together with Chapter Your UPM. So for
InsyaAllah.
all of us, we can I invite all of you to follow our IG, Chapter Your UPM, for especially to our students of UPM, and also to our friends from outside of UPM. You can go for collaboration together with us for any program next soon that will provide. You can go to our IG. Last but not least, thank you, and hopefully your Ramadan will become better for this year. And inshallah, I think that's all for it. So we'll have the evaluation form for all of you. So you can go for our group of postgraduate channel, live channel is as mentioned inside the group lah. So but not least, I again thank you to all of the audience. Hopefully all the mistakes and the weaknesses from me as a host for this workshop, I'm very sorry, and I hope that Allah SWT will forgive me to have a better commitment after this. Okay, thank you again, Doctor. Say bye bye.
For
Assalamualaikum.
hard work, Azri and
Yes, saya.
Atira. Thank you for hard work.
Oh,
Thank you for
inshallah. Thank
thank
you
you.
also for Doctor. Doctor, is there any wish from you to our audience?
Just stay safe, inshallah. Stay safe and
Okay, well, just stay safe. Stay at home. All right, okay, bye bye. Assalamualaikum.
Alhamdulillah.